Let's start pulling some trash here.
Health stat.
Go, go, go.
That's my health stat. Kind of forgot because I don't usually call it stamina in
Lady Bob Dole.
any video game.
Darkvein.
Is there a reason that
She
tapped?
No.
It was scary.
Doctor hat.
Just checking.
It was scary.
Because
I need to talk to something fast.
It's just compulsion.
Sounds so fucking silly. I love it.
Even when I'm out in the world, if I see a random alliance, I'll just sap them. I'm not gonna kill them, I'll just sap them.
Minor inconveniences.
Good man.
Oh, that looks bad.
It is a container of desire.
It's supposed to be soaking those.
I don't know, it's probably a clue about a boss mechanic, but I'm trying my best not to learn it.
Keep up the good work.
Who will do? That last boss is so goddamn long.
Yeah.
I started realizing optimization.
That one will scale 100% to our DPSer's ability to just kill it quicker.
Yep. We should have been
Yeah.
too healing. That would have been super fast.
Yeah, because we would have wiped faster.
I don't know.
You know
what
what I
you're
mean?
talking
Like, there's the one over the course of the expansion, the fight maybe only gets 20 seconds shorter because it's still like got mechanics and phases and intermissions, but that guy will just go down faster and faster and faster every week.
about. Yeah, that one.
I mean,
Yeah, pretty.
I've got
pretty fast.
vampiric embrace. That counts, right?
Oh, there you go.
I'm helping.
We know for next week. I feel like that's a soak thing. Let's find out.
They're
I mean, the
fine.
big
Good luck,
arrow
Zico.
makes it seem soaky.
They
didn't die.
Spirit just in case.
Oh,
I
I
like
made
a
a mistake.
triangle.
Seagull's just getting murdered.
Oh, there's a
Oh, they have a
ground
debuff.
bottle.
Did everybody see what happened?
Nope.
Triangle
Nope.
with a shape
No.
around
Alright,
it.
alright,
happened. I
alright.
still have no clue what the fuck to do.
Alright. Slow damage, because you guys are gonna want to pay attention to this.
No.
Nope.
Not my damage.
Denied.
Hey, look.
They had to get the
Yeah,
circles
yeah,
in
yeah.
this triangle.
Damn. That
He's
sounds nice.
condemning somebody. But yes, draw a barrier around orbs.
It's not drawing
Whoa.
a barrier, it's you're trying to put the line through the orbs.
I don't know, you put the line
through,
through
like,
me
both-
earlier.
Through both of them?
Oh, through both
Yeah,
of the
you have
orbs.
to do both orbs simultaneously. And I believe during the boss fight there's 3.
Which would explain why there's 3 connections.
You managed to escape my grasp, only to brazenly return to these halls alongside this ragged band of mortals. Pathetic!
Nathria has betrayed Reverend Dress by unleashing this anima into the maw. Surely even a
This is a good
sycophant like
fight.
you can see that.
What
It's
I
a really good fight.
is a bold new future about to unfold. A future with no place for traitors like you!
No feast on this bowl.
Oh yeah, that's
Thing I
not
lived through
ominous
that.
at all.
For people that are looking for it.
Good thing I lived through last fall.
Be good.
Somebody gave me something on the spot. Oh, there we go.
I like that the only boss immune to distract so far has been the rogue one.
She knows your tricks.
Oh god. Lua errors.
Holy Lua errors.
Oh, yeah, me too. That's what
Oh
bug
god,
grabbers
what's
for.
happening?
Indeed.
I'm also having errors on that. Okay, I'm just gonna drag this to the side for now.
Oh, I didn't read anything this time. Oh no.
I think we soak those.
I think we soak those, yeah. But I didn't see anyone else doing it, so.
There's the orbs for the lines.
Yep.
They really want us to do lines.
Oh man.
No, you have to hit 3. You have to hit all 3. There's 3.
First try.
Spirit down.
Yep, but
I think that's.
Is that the shared? That's the shared, right?
I thought this was the mob that
Nope.
spawns.
We'll miss you.
Yeah, but you want to put the mob in the group rather than way out in the middle of fuck nowhere.
Oh, I thought it was gonna like heal the bots or something.
Oh god, no!
Singing. Should probably get the tank up.
Yeah, he's coming up.
I don't have bleed up. Shit.
orbs.
Something bad's gonna happen.
We're about to blow up.
I think it was called a containment breach. That looks bad.
It's probably fine.
Tank's down again.
Got a problem?
Well, it means
That
you're
sounds
tanking.
bad.
A moment to shine.
Don't let me down.
This is the part where I die.
Goodbye.
No. But we made it so
These
far.
stacks hurt a lot.
We didn't make it anywhere.
Let me know if you want to bob.
Go for it.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Nope. Pain.
So ad needs to not get run all the way out.
Ad needs to DBM Lua error.
Yeah.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Shared cognition.
Oh god. That hurt.
Singing.
That was not standing in his zone. That's lines coming out.
That was fast.
These ads hurt.
We're gonna pick Nick up.
We already used the powers.
It's only one?
One per certain amount of time.
You start with 1, the next one's in 90 seconds.
They changed it from you have a certain number per size of group to per length of time per size of group.
Someone soak the farther one.
Tried to get to it.
That ad is not dying very fast.
I mean,
yeah, we have a lot of people dead, that's fair.
Also, the thing hits like a truck.
It hits like a truck.
It's supposed to be tanked, but we're having our own problems right now.
Bottle needs to be drained. Can't, it's being channeled into. Our master's out.
Oh.
Gotta back up more Optimus, there you go.
So,
Mana tied out.
I can't soak or I'll die. Thank you.
Get Vanya. Res me, then we'll res Buena. Oh.
Here go the dinks.
So note about the ad. I'm sure you guys all know that it needs to die fast, but it also applies a stacking debuff that increases the damage of our primary tank debuff. So,
I'm giving her all she's got, Captain.
Yeah. Yeah, this lady hurts.
It's yep.
You fool, you could have vanished and saved yourself the durability bill. You were the last one left. And the vanish cooldown was up. I saw that. So believe it or not, we're still dealing with the first day of raiding. I almost feel like they need to acknowledge like the passage of time and the fact that like I have such a woeful item level in that video, but it's been like 3 weeks now because that video is still December 8th, the first day that the raid launched in Shadowlands. We just got through a lot of bosses that day. She's not even the last one, or that week at least. But this character, this boss, was the one that finally broke our streak for how many bosses we were getting done on the first day, and we had to stop and go home log off where everyone's home, especially this year, and come back the next day to try again. But there's a lot going on. This was when we first started getting really complicated. She has a lot going on, and I'm not going to be able to adequately explain just how much stuff is going on, partly because not all of it's stuff I deal with. Like, there's the healers and the tanks, obviously, but for starters, she's there, she's fighting and attacking and does all the basic stuff there. She has a few things that go on where she throws these anima vials out into the crowd, which admittedly I don't really have to deal with very much because I'm melee, and they pretty much get thrown towards our ranged DPS. But they have to run in and soak those, which means that there's like a circle on the ground as those vials fly through the air, and they have to jump into that circle and wait for it to hit them, because it'll do damage to them, yes, but if it hits the ground, it does massive damage to the entire raid, which I think you guys saw happen at least once during the video up until now. It's just that big spike of surprise damage is because somebody didn't grab it when it was landing, and that's a raid ender, so that's just a thing that has to be taken care of, but it's pretty easy. I think before long we got pretty used to it, especially over the last few weeks, and it just hasn't really been an issue. What has been much more of an issue is this goddamn line drawing mechanic. Let's see if I can bring this up here. This bastard is the best way to bring it up, I guess. So there's so 3 people are connected by a red line. I think it's anyone except for the tanks, basically. It's usually how mechanics work. Oftentimes it's one melee DPS and 2 ranged DPS or a healer or something. And then there's 3 orbs in the environment that are forming a triangle somewhere. And so the 3 people that are connected by lines have to walk into a position where the lines connecting them will go through all 3 of the orbs. And then this leads to some complications. One, everyone just isn't always good at reacting correctly and organizing. Also, the lines that are connecting you hurt everyone else in the raid, so that's kind of rough, but it's not really great. It's not really easy to avoid putting it through the raid if one of you is melee. I don't know. But also, like, the orbs themselves hurt you, so you can't just stand on the orbs. And so if everybody stands directly behind each of the 3 orbs, then the lines won't actually be hitting any of the orbs. They'll be just surrounding the orbs. So you kind of have to do this dance where you're trying to figure out how to stagger, of like everyone going to the left or everyone going to the right of the orb they're standing behind, so that the line so that at least one of the 2 lines coming out of them goes through one of the orbs. So it looks kind of like this. This is a picture that Nick drew when he was trying to get the raid to stop dying. That's more or less that. Other mechanics, before I get to the really big one. She summons an ad every now and then. Somebody gets a circle on themselves, and it's like, oh, here's where it's going to happen. And usually people reflexively run away when that happens, which is partly correct. But while in many situations you want to just completely fucking run away from everything whenever there's a weird circle on you, because it usually like kills your raid or something. In this case, you want them to be just right outside the range. You want to be as close to the group as possible, but without actually having anyone be in the circle, because you don't want to hurt people with the summon, but it's going to summon a ad, which is the big red blood elemental looking dude guy. And that needs to be tanked and dealt with and quickly transitioned to for DPS purposes and so on. So you want to have it like right there next to the existing boss, just far enough away that it doesn't hurt everybody in the area. There's some other minor stuff going on, like there's red pools of weird scratchy surface looking stuff that does damage to you over time, so you just don't stand in it. It's a little hard to see, but it's very easy to notice that you're taking damage, so when you step into it, it's pretty easy to be like, oh fuck, and then get out of it. Here's the main mechanic though. So she has 4 vials around the room, and they fill up over time, and each of them affects her stats. There are 4 stats or effects or something about her that is affected by those 4 vials. I don't know which one is which and what they do necessarily off the top of my head, but they all buff a different aspect of her person. And they're all filling up over time, which means that they will keep making her stronger and stronger until she wipes the raid, and that's obviously bad. But what's much worse is that if they fill up, they unleash like 10,000 damage per second to the entire raid, or something silly like that. So the raid just wipes like immediately if one of them actually fills, and you're pretty screwed. So you can't let them fill. But the way that you drain them is that you make it leak out. So like we essentially have people that are on vial duty. So this is another task that I haven't really seen up close that much. I just know what's happening in the background. Somebody goes up to each of these things, and they release liquid or whatever, or essence from the canister. And what the problem here is that when you're releasing it, it damages the raid. So there's no winning. Everything damages the raid, but damaging the raid over time by releasing it slowly is significantly better than her becoming a super Hulk that wipes the raid by being too strong, or much more importantly, the entire raid being wiped out by the 10,000 damage per second ridiculous thing that happens when it gets completely full. So you basically just you're kind of feathering it. Like there's like a specific, there's like a finesse to how much you want to release and so on. But here's the additional complication. So you want to release all of them, but in particular there's a rotation she goes through where one of them becomes unreleasable. One of them becomes untouchable and just keeps filling continuously. She does this for each of the 4 of them, one at a time. So she starts the fight doing it to one of them, and then she ends the fight doing it to the last one, and so on. The only way to stop her from filling one of them up continuously is to do a lot of damage to her. There's like 2 things going on. One, I think she stops filling it after like 100 seconds and continues to the next phase of the boss fight, which is bad because that means you're behind on DPS. But the other way that it happens is that it's every 25% of her health. So if you can do 25% of her health in damage, then she switches to the next vial, which means you can then release the one that's probably close to being full at this point, and you can keep the raid going. You're in trouble if you're taking the time limit out aspect where she stops after 100 seconds, not only because it might fill up and wipe the raid, but because that means you're falling behind on the being able to beat the fight in time. You're falling behind on I don't know why I'm having trouble with the sentence. But it's bad. Oh yeah, the biggest problem there is that she doesn't change phases on the 4th phase. So when she's on the 4th vial, she does not stop after 100 seconds. So now it will fill and it will wipe the raid. So if you are behind the curve up until that point, you're especially not going to be able to beat that phase in time. And so that's the thing that we were running up into, is that we kept dying in phase 4. part of it is just it's opening raid week, and a lot of us don't have that good of gear, especially me, and DPS is just not where it could be, and part of it was also like we came to the conclusion that we just needed to use Bloodlust at a different time, which I think is the Shaman ability. I think that makes you. I think it increases the haste or something. It makes the entire raid do more damage per second, but it has a massive cooldown in the form of it puts a debuff on everybody where none of them can be affected. Nobody in the entire raid can be affected by that kind of thing again for like 10 minutes. So you're very choosy and you do it once per encounter. And since we were flagging on damage and we were not quite keeping up with the 25% damage per 100 seconds quota, we ended up switching to that one so that we could we ended up switching to using that in phase 4 because that's when we desperately needed to catch up or we were going to die, and we got that done, and yeah, that was pretty much the solution. So things were going all right. Like it's a big complicated sounding fight, but once you get the handle of it, it turned out the real reason we weren't winning for many attempts, because this was definitely the most attempts we had ever taken on a boss fight so far, until some of the harder ones that come later, which are just going to get more complicated. Really just putting Bloodlust in the last phase was the big thing, because this was ultimately a DPS check, because you're racing to beat her in time. And so that means that the moment we came back a week later, it was just the easiest thing ever, and it has continued to be such an easy fight every following week, except for when people struggle with this mechanic on the screen right now with the triangle. Because the DPS race was ultimately the most challenging thing of all, despite all the complicated things layering on top of that. I am a bit afraid to see what she's like in higher difficulties.
Remember, no lust.
Do blow it all.
No lust.
I just hugged the bear.
Soaps.
Note on the soaks, it does hit everyone that's in it.
But it doesn't split it, right?
It does not split it.
You only need one person in it.
Orb out.
Sorry, I couldn't see it. It looks like when you get the lines, it bumps you out, though.
Yep.
Yeah, you get a little warning.
Watch yourself, melee.
Okay, heal a mana type that should be manaing all of us.
It probably was before, to be honest.
The soak. That was almost exactly 100 seconds.
I do think we managed to transition her just barely with pull cooldowns.
Yeah.
But every phase here on in, we're always coming up like 2.5 to 3% short.
Isolation.
But yeah, anytime Lust was saving us in that first transition, we were stealing from ourselves in the final phase.
Oops.
Just for stabilizing.
I still have my raid cooldown.
Here's will be the oh shit button.
Sounds good.
I still have Or master. Or about by yellow. We're just a little bit behind, but not too much. Nope.
Two in the back.
Soaks in the back.
I got the far one.
Right.
Morgan Naylor.
No. Yep.
I'm starting to scrape the mana barrel.
Oh, him
be your
after this
ad.
ad.
Missing hope.
Orbs. Careful.
Mana tide.
Or mastery. Just to ease stuff.
Orbs. Fair melee.
Make sure pop
Well,
forward
yeah,
gets drained all
one
the way.
right melee.
First one die. Okay.
I'm gonna die.
Testing him.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, sorry, the little knockback that it gives you knocked me through the lines.
Soak.
Remember me.
Puddle 4, Lusty. Are cooldowns?
Yeah. Yeah, go just less now.
How low you
Just
want her
be-
before we ignore an ad?
Be ready
That's
on
my
those
raid.
cooldown.
Probably at least the next one or two.
Got wings.
Drinking. 'Cause I'm not,
Wings are down.
Adds up.
Oh, we can kill it.
What?
Spirit.
Oaks. Hit the ad, guys. Alright, now kill her.
Pardon those bitch.
This one's gonna be your ad.
Just kill her. Just kill her. Ignore this one.
There we go.
No, it was the VAT switching that we weren't handling correctly. Once we knew the whole 100-second 25% thing, that makes a difference.
Got a thing. I got
GG.
enema.